Hey everyone, right here are my settings and my sliders for 2K24 MyNBA CPU versus CPU watching as well as simulation sliders. So I'm going to go through all of these settings here while I talk over them, and I'll have the label for which section of the settings I'm currently showing, and I'll scroll through each and every option that I have right now. For those who don't know, this is my Neptunes franchise. So this is the one where I watch CPU versus CPU gameplay. We're currently in year 5 in the playoffs in the actual series on my channel, so go ahead and check that out if you have not done so already. But really the goal of these sliders is to, one, have the gameplay that you watch in the showcase games match up with the sim stats that you get when you just sim over a game and just simcast it, or just sim right through it, or sim your entire season. So the main goal is to get those two to be very accurate and similar and just the same, so that there's no real major disparity between those two stat lines if you were to watch the entire year versus simming the entire year. So that's the goal. But the other goal is to also have it be realistic to real life. And one of the struggles really of the slider testing, especially if you stay on the default sliders, is that they're way off, especially on the offense. You're going to have really low points per game, especially watching if you don't have better settings. And it's really hard to get a realistic balance for all of the stats. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's impossible, because these aren't going to be perfect, but these are your best bet to get pretty much like a 95% realistic stat line across the entire NBA, as well as a good distribution for those stats too, not just for the team stats, but also for the player stats. You know, you got to be careful with your balance there, because just because you have a good team stat does not mean that the player stats also line up. But with these settings here, what you get is you get realistic settings to real life for team stats, aside from rebounds really. And then for player stats, everything is pretty much good to go as well, except for rebounds. Rebounds, I really had a major issue with. And when I say rebounds, I'm really mainly talking about the simulation sliders for 2K, not the CPU sliders. So with the simulation ones, the rebounds are just way too high on both offensive and defensive rebounding. And I spent 10, 20 plus seasons trying to test out sliders to get that lower and keep everything else in terms of team stats where it should be. And I just couldn't find the right balance. I've got the right pace and the right possessions per game. I got the right points per game, points allowed, field goal attempts, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, 3-point attempts, free throw percentage. All of that is in a really good place. It's just the rebounds. The assists, steals, and blocks are also very good. The fouls per game are almost perfectly accurate to real life. So it's really just the rebounding. But I don't think it's that big of an issue, because everything else lines up. So it's not causing any major issues. But when you're watching CPU versus CPU gameplay, when you're just watching the two teams battle it out, the rebounds aren't a problem. So the gameplay when watching is really almost perfect. The only slight thing I would try to change going forward is I've really had an issue trying to match the pace of real life, because the turnovers are too low in general. I would say even if you increase it, and the amount of shots per game is a little bit too low, but the scoring is not too bad. Like the scoring is accurate to real life, I would say. Might have a couple of games where there's a bit too little scoring in terms of, like, if you were to put all the games that you watch into an average, you probably should have a few more games where some teams are scoring some higher points. Maybe if you want to increase the made shots and the field goal percentage a little bit, that would make sense. But I think in general you get a really fun, balanced game where both teams will always have a shot to win, because that is how it is in real life. Obviously, you don't go into a game saying, "Oh my God, this team's just gonna blow this team out." That doesn't always happen. So that's the goal of that. But really, I think that, this slider set is in a good place now, and if you start your series with these settings, then especially with the contract sliders and the salary cap, then you're going to be in a really good place in terms of free agents and having the right amount of good players on teams and the amount of money that each player is making versus their potential and things like that. So I think this is a really good set for that. And I'm just going to let the rest of these play out, because that's all I got to say. So thanks for watching. And if you guys wouldn't mind, please do like and subscribe. It goes a long way. And I don't usually do, settings and slider videos. I just kind of include updates to them in my series. But I figured it's been almost 5 years, and it was worth to upload the full slider set for these. So, yeah, thanks. And comment down below your thoughts on these. And enjoy.